What's up guys, Jeff Cavaliere, ATHLEAN-X.com. So today we're finally gonna clear the air. What are my stats? What's my height? What's my weight? You should see the guesses that are made out there. Some people have me at 5'6". Some guys got me at 220 pounds. I can tell you this, I'm neither of those. But more importantly, whether or not you know my stats is not important to me. What is important is that there's a value in this. There's a big teaching point here that we can make that I think is going to become extremely valuable for you, especially as you set your own goals. All right, so we're going to knock this out. By the way, we actually already did this in the Gummy Bear Challenge video. I actually showed my stats back then, despite the fact that all these numbers were out there. By the way, do you remember losing that challenge, Jesse?
Yeah, I do. Thanks for bringing it up.
Do you remember the
beard? It's
right,
gone.
yeah, it's gone. It's gone. So, all right, so the shoes are off, guys. By the way, ATHLEAN-X socks, not available for purchase yet on the website, but we're gonna get our height. So now, by the way, Jesse, is this safe for me to get into this?
I think
You literally taped a tape measure up on the wall.
Yeah, well, it's the best I could do.
Okay, all right, so take this straight edge. Let me get out of here before this thing falls on me. Head back up, is that good?
Okay, yep. And move. Okay, you are at 5'10" and a half. Look at you.
I'll take the half, thank you very much. Now guys, we gotta get our body weight. This fluctuates a bit for me.
Looks like around 175.
Okay, so 175, we'll take off 2 pounds for the clothes, so 173-ish. So now, some of you have already just made the big mistake, and I caught you. You're saying, wait, 5'10" and a half, 173, that's me. I'm 5'10" and a half, 173. But I don't look like Jeff. Well, because if you just rely on height and weight, you obviously have missed the biggest, most important criteria here, and that is when it comes to qualifying any height or weight, you do need to know the body fat, because it's going to allow you to paint a much clearer picture, because somebody could be 5'10" and 175 and be 30% body fat and look completely different than somebody that's at 10% body fat, and we know that. So we're gonna do the body fat. So I have the Skindex here, set for my age. Don't make fun, Jesse.
You're old.
So what we do is, we go up here on the chest. I'll do my own pinching. I used to do this for every member of the team on the Mets. Okay, then you get the abdomen here. Pull away. And then we get the thigh. Jesse, keep your eyes up.
Well, then how am I supposed to film this?
Okay. It comes in at 5.8%. Okay, so I stay pretty much 5.8% pretty much all year round. And you guys are going to probably now make the second mistake. And the second mistake is, wait a second, how in the world could I be how does he walk around at 5.8% body fat year round? That's ridiculous. Who does that? Well, guys, I can tell you this, it's not without sacrifice, it's not without consistency, it's not without commitment. But it's also not without a prioritization on that. This is important to me. Being lean is one of the main things that's important to me. It's part of our brand name, ATHLEAN-X, right? Also, however, is being athletic and moving a certain way. And of course being strong, because I can tell you this, guys, I know this and anybody knows this. If you do 3 things, I don't care what body type you sit in right now, you're going to look better. If you put on more muscle, if you get leaner, and you get stronger, you're going to look better, period. There's not a person out there that couldn't benefit from that. But what also this underscores, however, is the value of leanness. Because when you are lean, whatever amount of muscle mass you carry looks bigger. It looks better. That's probably where the 220-pound guess came from, because I can't imagine anybody that stood next to me would think that. At the same time, guys, I think you become a bit more athletic when you carry less excessive body fat. Right? Weight slowing you down is not helping you to become more athletic. So I think prioritizing those things and letting my leanness help and assist in my athleticism has been one of my main goals. But it doesn't mean that I don't want to be strong at the same time for the reason I just mentioned. If there's a value to all 3 of those. As a matter of fact, you guys know that I like the weighted chin-up. So I'm actually working towards my 3-plate weighted chin-up and doing more and more reps here. And Jesse came by and he's like, wait a second, I actually filmed you this clip. He wanted me to show you this clip of him actually doing a 1-plate weighted chin-up. And I'm actually proud of what he's doing here. But he was discouraged because all of a sudden he's like comparing himself to me. And I think that's where the danger comes in here, guys. You don't need to compare yourself to others, especially when it comes to body stats, because of the fact that you need to understand that it's not just body stats that should inspire you. There's so much more that can come from looking beyond just body stats. So let me explain a little bit. When I was a kid, The physique role models I had, very well known by this point, Sylvester Stallone. That's the guy that I wanted to be. I wanted to be like he looked like in Rambo. And some might say that, Jeff, you've actually become a bit like Sylvester Stallone was like in Rambo. And that's cool for me. But I always still wanted to maintain athleticism at the same time, which has been a key focus of mine. But if I had also wanted to aspire to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was another huge icon at that time, I could have been making a big mistake. Why? Because Arnold is 6'3", 240 pounds. More current day, present day, The Rock is 6'3", 250, 260 pounds. I watch wrestling all the time. Hulk Hogan, right? Rick Rude, or guys that stand here next to me in my own gym. Recently, Sheamus came in here with Cesaro. Jinder Mahal's been here, Drew McIntyre, and with Florian Montiano from Creed. Guys that I train, guys that come through here. These are big guys. I don't get self-conscious standing next to those guys. You know why? Because I've come to grips with the fact that I'm not going to be them physically in terms of their stature. That's not in the cards for me. If we look at the skeleton here, guys, those guys' skeletons, I can assure you, do not look like this underneath their bodies. This guy looks a bit more like me, but the fact is we have certain clavicles that are a certain length that can carry a certain amount of pec musculature here. If your clavicle comes out here, if you have much wider shoulders because you're a much bigger guy, you have a much bigger skeleton inside you, you have to fill that skeleton with more muscle mass. And therefore, that muscle mass carries more water, which is going to allow you to weigh more too. These are things that just aren't necessarily in the cards for me. But that's when you measure stats only. The same way that when we make that mistake of isolating that for our inspiration, we've just cut ourselves short. If I didn't look at a guy like Thor Bjornsson, who's deadlifting 1,000 pounds, I wouldn't ever have the opportunity to say, man, I got some work to do. Now I realize I'm not gonna prioritize strength as the only thing I work towards, so I'm never going to have a 1,000-pound deadlift, but it doesn't mean that I can't have a stronger deadlift. And drawing some inspiration from him is a great thing. Let's go back to The Rock for a second. Who in this world cannot benefit from aspiring to match his work ethic? Right? I don't care what you want to say, oh, The Rock uses stuff. Forget that. That's all nonsense. That's all BS because that's irrelevant when it comes to his work ethic. There's nobody right now that works harder at what he does and works harder in the weight room than him. So if you don't think you could benefit from that, then I think you're doing yourself a disservice. The same thing with all the wrestlers that come through here. If you understood the travel schedule they had, but their desire and commitment to stay in their training regimens despite being in a different city every night, or carrying their nutrition with them to make sure they have proper food from city to city, knowing that they're not going to know what food is available to them. That's dedication. You could benefit from any of that. And if you go back to me, we're like, Jeff, you couldn't be that lean. Guys, again, I prioritized it. So what I make is some sacrifices. I have that much noted 1 carrot cake, one cheat meal a year. I don't drink. When I go out with my friends, I don't drink. That makes it much easier to stay lean. And I've also been doing this consistently now for years and years and years. I've made it my life's focus, not just to be lean, but to be overall well-rounded. So if you define you, if you make sure that what you feel is important, you aspire to, that is what matters most. And don't limit it to just body stats, because body stats can be greatly deceiving. So guys, I hope you found this helpful. If above all else, truthful, and maybe we can finally clear the air on what I actually weigh and what my height is. The fact is, guys, I want you guys to be the best you can be. If you're looking for programs that we have that will allow you to become the best you can be, from total body training programs, our brand new one actually, Total Beast, available over at ATHLEAN-X.com, to any of our other programs more focused on directly on athleticism, we have programs that match your goals. You just have to define what those goals are for you. They're all available over there. In the meantime, if you found the video helpful, leave your comments and thumbs up below. Let me know what I'm going to cover. And if you haven't already done so, guys, please subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss a video. All right, guys, be back here again soon. See ya.